it's like, well, this verse is nowhere near money, right? It's talking about your heart posture to others, right? I think the context still within this whole chapter is how you are treating other people. And so it's just it's an interesting thing of how we can escalate to extreme measures for a personal gain, or organizational, but it's a selfish desire.
Hey, I just want to address how people get to tithing on this, and this is and it goes to mishandling scripture too. The reason how people get to tithing on this is because typically in today's American church, when we talk about tithing, we make it synonymous with giving. And if you look at how Paul teaches on giving, it is the exact opposite of what the Old Testament teaches about tithing. Tithing being absolutely mandatory. It was borderline a tax that the Jewish people had to pay, and giving was the complete opposite. It was optional. You give on what's in your heart and what God, and you don't give for selfish reasons. Exactly what you were speaking on, brother. And that's how they link it to tithing, because they often make tithing and giving synonymous, and that's like my biggest pet peeve, because they're two different things, but they always make them synonymous. So when it's time to give your tithes, gifts, and offerings, right? That's how it gets brought into the tithing conversation. So I just wanted to share.
So into this ministry.
Yeah, and I think the real issue is because it's all a mishandling. You know, we're going through the Old Testament right now, and there actually are different types of tithes. We only talk about
10%.
certain types, but there is actually different types of tithe, and there was tithe before the law, and the tithe before the law looked more like giving than mandatory tithing. It was something that Jacob chose to do on his own without any law. He wanted to give back to the Lord because God was being good to him. That's the heartbeat behind giving. This particular verse is about relationships.
Yes.
It's not about giving monetarily, although it includes that. Because if you look back, even through the context, like you said, you give to those who are in need, not wanting anything back.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
if that's the way he's teaching this, then he's basically talking more about your posture towards other people. This is really about loving your neighbor. This is not necessarily about getting anything, but he's saying if you do these things, and this is Jesus teaching, consistently. He says, verse 30, give to everyone who asks, and from him who takes away your goods, do not ask for them back. Why? Because I don't, if you needed that, take it here. Then he says, just as you want men to do to you, you also do to them likewise. So it's really about teaching you how to interact with other people.